Hello folks, well, good morning. It is a very hot morning, but nevertheless it is a morning, which means we have lots of time today on day 2 of our adventure in Arches National Park to do what we can to see all that needs to be seen. We're starting the day off on a trail towards something that you will all probably recognize here in this national park. But first, we have a nice set of petroglyphs. If you can see it, this petroglyph depicts a herd of sheep or rams or whatever animals. It seems like on a couple of them there are people riding. So there must be a few horses maybe? Now you could probably see what looked like very clear images. And that's because this petroglyph back there is not that old. It's only a couple hundred years old, but nevertheless it is a Native American work of art. But that was merely just a fun little thing to start us off. What we're really heading towards is the iconic, delicate arch. This is the arch that you're going to be seeing on all the postcards of Arches National Park. It's that iconic shape. I can't really explain it right now, but when we get there, you will see exactly what I mean. You really gotta love the trails out here in the west where there aren't any trees. So you see, for yards and yards and yards in the distance. Sometimes at a certain elevation, you can see for miles. So something tells me that once we ascend this big old cliffside, we'll be approaching the delicate arch. I am so out of shape right now. Or at least I feel that way. I've never seen a squirrel or a rat that small. I must say, great way to make use of a cliffside. Turn it into a trail. Big crowd, you know what that means? We've reached the delicate arch. Now, although this toilet bowl area of red, smooth sandstone is already impressive enough, here comes the crown jewel. Yeah, this is Delicate Arch. You may have noticed that the state license plate of Utah has this delicate arch, this very arch, on it as part of the artwork. So if you ever drive through the West and you see a license plate that is from Utah, make sure to notice the artwork. You may just see this very natural feature. True to its name, you sort of realize that this arch has probably been up here for millions of years and yet looks like it could topple at any moment. Although it is in this arch's name that it is delicate, the hike up here is anything but. Make sure that you have plenty of water. Make sure that you are well prepared for this hike. It is no easy stroll. Not at all. So now that we're going downhill on our way to our next attraction here at Arches, I have a little more breath in me. I don't have to conserve as much air in my lungs with the capacity that I do have. So I want to take this time to ask you all a question. We have now been to both natural arches and man-made arches. Which one do you guys think is more impressive? Do you guys think something like the Gateway Arch with its towering height over 600 feet, made entirely by man's ingenuity, is impressive? More so than something that has been around for millions of years? Which one is more noteworthy? Or maybe, dare I say, just maybe, the best arches of them all in the country are the golden arches. Oh yeah, McDonald's. I'm only kidding. They don't stand a chance against the natural arches here at this national park and, of course, the Gateway Arch. Now, in geologic terms, before an arch is made, it starts out as a fin. This whole area, like I said yesterday, used to be one big bed of sandstone on a salt bed, but then it got broken up and then it turns into these fins. They look like a bunch of swollen hands or fingers. Wow, we are right in the middle of all these fins. This is what's known as Sand Dune Arch. I've yet to see an arch, but we see plenty of sand dunes here. This is definitely an adventure today. Utah and the whole entire Southwest is definitely a place of adventure. I would say so. Oh my goodness, this is slippery. What a great little canyon. Almost like a slot canyon, but not really. We're just in the middle of these two fins. But yes, you just got to see the Sand Dune Arch. It's a great arch to visit if you just want some shade. Utah is a very dry, hot state with lots of sunbeams coming down on you if you're out in the open, so this Sand Dune Arch Trail is a perfect thing to do when you're just so fatigued. But we are no longer fatigued. We have one more place to go here. One more look at the Sand Dune Arch before we leave. Beautiful. Alright, let's go. So we are headed towards our final arch of the video and the location as a whole. We're going to round out our second and final day here in Arches with one last arch. And by now we know it wouldn't be a complete trail without those red rocks all around us. These terrific geologic formations of varying sizes. It's just so impressive. The scenery is generally the same, but you can still be so fascinated every time. Each trail has something a little bit different to capture your imagination. All these plants that have adapted to the climate, this arid landscape. Everyone, if you go to Arches National Park, make sure to bring shoes that don't have holes in them, or maybe just buy new shoes for the experience. The shoes I'm wearing right now are full of sand, and because they've been worn out from the months of travel that I've had them on, yeah, there's holes in my shoes. They're waterlogged at some points during the year, and then they're just worn out by the constant wear and tear. You know how shoes get, and so, yeah, there's a lot of sand here from the sandstone that weathers down, and you are guaranteed to get sand in your shoes if you don't have them tight sealed around your ankles. Yeah, just wanted to give one of those the more you know travel tip segments here on the Coverage Project. It's always nice when you could be prepared for travel. Sometimes, personally, I'm not, and so I fall victim to having shoes with holes in them. Thus, all the lumps of sand get clogged, and it's not fun hiking. You gotta empty it out every once in a while. But let me get to some more substantive material here. For thousands of years, this place has not been entirely empty. Although you might think that, okay, it's just a wasteland, nobody would use it. It was inhabited and occupied by various Native American groups for the last 10,000 years. The ancestral Puebloans, the Utes, the Paiutes. Now what's this I see in the distance? Why? It's the ever so grand landscape arch. Let's get a closer look. Well, here it is in all its glory. Landscape arch. Could this be the longest arch in this national park? It's certainly a pretty good contender. If I'd take a bet on what the longest arch in the park would be, well, it's fitting to the name, landscape. A wide landscape could be the longest. Well, it's not just the length of the arch that is captivating. True to its name, the landscape. What's in between the arch, what's under, what's around it. It could make for a serious painting. I mean, if Bob Ross was still alive, I'm sure this could be a real good inspiration. It's seriously a full-on color palette. The green, obviously the plants, the vegetation, the red rocks, the brownish dirt and earth, even dark spots, like the stuff on this sandstone, all around, the dark shades. And then there's us, a whole rainbow palette of us watching with such a vibrant enthusiasm. And of course, let's not forget the blue sky and the white clouds and the, well, also white sun, making it very, very hot right now. So hot that I don't know why, but I just feel like I need a glass of ice water right now. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just craving some things. When you are deprived of things, you really, really want it. I have water in my bag, but, something cold and refreshing really rising in my mind right now. I don't know why. But let's get back on track. It is here on this canvas of reality that we end our adventure today at Landscape Arch, part of Arches National Park, where I am proud to call this our 14th national park visited on the coverage project. Yeah, believe it or not, lately we've been really racking up those national parks. The tally is going up and up ever more. And it's a rarity that you'd find a national park that we'd get to visit on the coverage project, something in the east, of that magnitude, of that prestige, a national park. But here in the West, there are so many, there are plenty where you can go hopping around national park to national park, and that's what we've been doing lately. The national parks are certainly not over, but we'll be taking a little bit of a break before heading to another national park. As for now, we're gonna have to say goodbye to the Southwest. It was a lovely region, full of fabled tales of historical events or ancient history and culture with the Native American traditions, or just the amazing, extraordinary landscapes that we have seen. It's a region of the country that I will not forget for a long time, and I hope to return someday. Yeah, there's a lot to be seen in the Southwest. We have not even scratched the surface of it, believe me. But I guess you could say we're gonna be arching back into Colorado. Huh? Right? Arching? Okay. Anyway, let's just say our goodbyes now to the Southwest and enter a new region that I don't think we have really explored. No, not that I'm thinking of. I should stop talking before I spoil too much of the future adventures to come. But for right now, I'll just close it out with a nice scenic view of Landscape Arch. So coming to you from Landscape Arch here at Arches National Park. More travels to come. I will see you at the next location.